This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Gaz, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Xbox Newscast. I'm your host, Colteastwood, and I feel like John Travolta looking around like, huh? Yeah, but we're here. Thanks for everybody checking out live. We are here with the Colteastwood channel. We're on Spotify, Google, Apple, Pocket Podcasts, and I've got a friend of mine jumping into the show, and Gaz will be here momentarily, but I didn't want to keep you waiting because there's some great stuff to talk about, and I've never been here by myself. I'm kind of scared. No, but I'm pretty excited. It's good to see all the faces and names in the chat. I was talking to everybody pre-show, so I'm super excited. I've got somebody coming in, and then Gaz is like, it's been crazy. It's been a busy week, but thank you everybody for being here. This is so. You think I could do a solo show? I wouldn't want to do a solo show. The best part about doing these shows is the guests and having a great co-host. But let me start off by getting some business out of the way. I got to shout out some of the channel veterans and Patreon veterans who've been with the channel and supporting for a long time. We've got Raiden Blade, Ricky Fallon, Zetter White, Poochie, V Simcoe, Remix Gaming, Assassin, Raymond G, DeBlue, Devario 2 Gaming, Fault Lines, Wreak Havoc, Fox Storytelling, Ronnie Coots, Dark CMF, Betamax, Dante Moody, Alex Wilson, Lord Starkiller, Robert Jackson, Gamer McFly, Assassin Lupa, Nano Polymyth, Hargeet Shawnee, TK Chillin, Larry Thatcher, Suicide King, Udana Kizada, Phil, KY Bob, William Lanza, Matt Burns, Acute Perspective, True 77, Risk It for the Biscuit, and Game Bro. I recently updated that list the other day. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. We did a couple of giveaways just last week. In fact, I did about 3 or 4 because I was 2 months behind. So I did a couple extra giveaways for merch. And I've got this X&C shirt, and it's I've worn it down to nothing. Like it's about ready to just peel off to where you can't even read it. But I love these shirts so much. Stretchy material. I don't need to sell them. They're great shirts, but just keep an eye out for giveaways. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I've been playing as dusk falls, like I said, when I get some downtime. And Dealer Gaming and I've been going super sweaty and super hard on the Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies mode, which is like really freaking crazy. We're having a good time and we make a good team. I want to give a shout out to TextMade3, who became a channel member, has got the Joanna Dark channel membership icon. And we also got joining the channel is Saint Irv, who's been in the chat forever. I've been talking to Saint for a long time. And welcome to the early access. You also have the Joanna Dark. That gets you into those drawings and early access for videos. Like I usually make my videos in the evening and I finish them like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I upload them. And like when I lay down to bed, I'm like, here you go, channel members. Watch it early if you want. Get first comment in. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. Put out 3 videos last week. So a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. I'll give you guys a rundown of what we are going to talk about. There's one surprise game that snuck up from the grave that is supposedly supposed to make a reappearance. We're going to talk about that a little bit. A couple of games have been delayed. Sweet Mountain Dew. And we're going to talk about Game Pass. We're going to talk about some more acquisitions and partnerships and a couple of crazy takes about console game performance and $70 games. Not the way you think. An interesting take that I think, well, I'll get an interesting perspective from my co-host when he gets here and from the guests I've got coming in, one of my good friends who'll be here in a moment. But but yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, so anyway, that's been really good. So we're going to talk about that. And so I'll ask the chat, since I normally ask my co-hosts, I'll probably skip this when they get here. What have you guys been playing? Tell me what you've been playing lately on Xbox. This has been a time where all of the new games are done. Everyone's played everything that's pretty much brand new. All of the exclusives are pretty much, we're either playing them or done with them. So give a shout out in the chat. Let me know what you've been playing in this summer, because I think we're going to get an onslaught of whatever doesn't get delayed. in the next couple of weeks, right? So let's see. Frank Morissette says he's playing Outriders. Brian Harris been playing No Man's Sky. Shout out to Brian Harris. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like you're doing better. It's good to see you in the chat. The Division 2, yes, I was on Boom's show last week. He had Division 2 footage running the entire time. And while he was talking, I was just watching down here at the footage like, oh, man, I got to play that some more. But I've already played the wheels off of that content. Xenoblade 3, says Wilson Brighto. And Sekiro, finally. Who was that said Sekiro? Well, the chat's moving. Firestar is playing Sekiro. Yeah, so it's been, and I don't know. I have this thing about backlog. Can I give you my hot take about backlog while we roll up here? And shout out to over 450 people here checking out the show. We're just getting started. But my problem with backlog, this is just a me problem, so don't get mad. But I don't really have much of a backlog because the games that I'm not playing, I didn't really want to play them. So I tend to kind of just leave them. Is that bad? I don't know. Do you guys feel that way sometimes? Like everyone's talking about a game like Hades, and I tried it. I didn't love it. Everyone else loves it, and I feel like the odd man out. But that's, I guess that's how it goes. Janice is playing the Steam Deck. Something I haven't got around to buying yet. Jedi Fallen Order for Jason Morgan. What, man? You finally getting around to that game? So good. Yeah. So it's been pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else. I played the heck out of MLB, and nobody loves baseball but me. But I've kind of finally set that down. So I haven't played a whole bunch of that. Alfonso's playing SnowRunners. That's another like deep cut. I played Mud Runners for a little bit. It's not for me, but it's a pretty cool little game. Yeah, there's Fonz in the chat. He says, hi, Colt. Yeah, I should give a shout out to my mods, Udani Kizada, who's been here almost every episode, and Happy Bomb, who's been here, I'm pretty sure, every single episode, modding the chat. So Udani and Happy Bomb have done an excellent job of keeping the chat from being super crazy, but we appreciate you. And I appreciate you, Hargeet Chani, for being in the chat as well. What do you guys think about me getting Hargeet Chani on the show? He's been long overdue to get him on the show. I think I got to get him on when we get to talking about these game delays. Like, well, the next time we get talking in there, we'll get Hargeet Chani on the show. He was just on Go Live. So yeah, it's so funny when we've got a whole bunch to cover. Some of the news that's come up this week has been, I don't know, not super exciting, but we'll get into some of the stuff that I made videos about as well. There's been a little bit of drama on Twitter, which is absolutely nuts, but that's okay. We'll make it through it. Saints Row, Kyle says, or Lone Wolf says Saints Row is in 2 weeks. Let me look. We're the first week of August, so about 2.5 weeks. I'll be playing Saints Row. I'll have to turn the sound off because it'll be like really super annoying hearing those characters talk. But Dealer and I have already made a commitment to make crazy characters and run around that game co-op like we did the last couple games. So anyway, I've got Gaz coming in here just a moment. For those of you who don't know, I made Gaz, I get a couple questions about this, but I made Gaz a permanent co-host about 2 months ago, I think, maybe 3 months ago. And for him, he's in the UK. And so the show starts at 1 a.m. his time. Right now, for me, it's 5 p.m. And in order for him to stay alive and still be employed at his regular job, Gaz will usually take a nap around 10 o'clock at night, get a little bit of sleep in, do the show for 2 hours, and then go back to bed, and it'll make him into a zombie. But he called me like right when we were going live. He's like, Colt, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm like, no, it's cool. It's cool. Let me read just a couple supers. We got Danny Passion Official, who's always hanging out in the podcast and a great supporter. He has a $2 super for Gaz. He says, Gaz sauce. Yes. Thank you so much. And Red Wolf, thank you for the $2 super, says, how about fake news Sony fans are putting out? I haven't heard about any fake news pieces from supposed insiders. I don't claim to be an insider, but I haven't heard about that. Let me change the background here. But the news gets so messy. Here, I'm looking for the right thing. There we go.
I am so sorry. The freaking altitude doesn't work. I'm so sorry, Colt. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool.
Happen. It was
It's
bound to
cool.
happen.
Yeah. No, it's, you know what? I thought, if he's sleeping, I'll just send a message. And if he doesn't wake up, good. He can finally get rest on a Monday.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Yo, I slept since I got home. I've been sleeping like a beast. This is the most longest I've slept because I barely sleep like 3-4 hours a day. So this body just catching up. I'm ready. I'm so sorry, chat. I'm so sorry. The jolt when I just got the realization in my I was looking at my phone. I'm like, I got an hour. You do that half an hour. For some reason, I didn't even set the alarm up. But then the jolt where I just realized.
Oh, okay.
No, I got electric shock. Fully destroyed.
Yeah, and I went ahead and went live with just me on the screen, and then I've got the show in front of me, and I see this huge Cole Eastwood face, and I'm like, I feel so sorry for the chat and the audience, but no, it's cool.
We here.
Yeah, I was reading a super chat. I don't know what he was talking about, but I think it's Red Wolf says, "How about the fake news Sony fans are putting out? What's the fake news going on this week from the Sony side? I don't remember anything."
What's the fake news?
Everything weird.
What's the fake news that they're putting this week? There's always something. So
I don't remember anything. I think we're okay.
Accustomed to the nonsense. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What is it? Tell us in chat.
Tell us, Red Wolf. I don't know what it is. Danny Pastor Official with the $2 super says, "What do you think about the Microsoft and Unity partnership?" We're going to talk about that midway through the show, or a little earlier than that, but it kind of adds into a different discussion that I can't wait to hear from you guys, since you work in a business where they beat you with a rod. They smack your knuckles, and they yell at you, and they crunch you and all that stuff. So we'll get into that, but let me get started here. I've got somebody rolling in to join us in a minute, a good friend of mine. And so I was actually, I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to ask him yesterday if he wanted to do the show, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll wait. And you never know. Sometimes you just play these things by ear. But let's talk about the first thing on my topic list that I think is so funny, so dear to my heart, guys. But apparently Deep Silver is like for real. They're like for realsies, right? They're using the term for realsies. But no, Deep Silver says that Dead Island 2 is in fact alive and coming spring 2023, which is literally right on the, let me think. Yes, right on the 9-year mark of when it was supposed to release, not when it was announced. It had a release date of spring 2014 on the Xbox One and PS4. It was supposed to launch in that first season after the Christmas season. It was supposed to launch in that spring of when the Xbox One is brand new. It's supposed to launch right next to Titanfall. And here it is 9 years later, guys. And they're saying...
Is that a very late April Fool's joke? Because that's crazy.
I mean, I've heard this 3 times or 4 times over the past 8 or 9 years that this is alive. I don't know how much you know about this series, but I want to hear from the chat really quick while Gaz cranks the gears and is crazy up.
But
chat, let me know if you like Dead Island, because it's a campy, crappy game, but I loved it for how crappy it is. But
it wasn't that.
What do you know about it? What do you know about its history?
Poorer version of Dying Light, basically. I mean, my friend Ben really was waxing lyrical about it at the time. He loves the zombie games. I thought it was dead in the water. I don't know where you've seen this. Like, the developers have come out and said it. You saying, okay,
it's Deep Silver. It's Deep Silver saying, ensuring their, customers via their investors that this thing is in fact finally ready. About a year ago, I made a video with leaked footage from an early build that looked atrocious. And I love Dead Island. Now, you said a ripoff of Dying Light. It was made by the same... Dead Island was made by Techland. Techland kind of graduated on out of Deep Silver's, vest pocket. And they made Dying Light, which they like really said, hey, we want to do this and make Dead Island better. but apparently it's changed 3 studio hands or 2.
See, I don't trust a game like that unless, of course, if it has come back and it's still alive, then what the best way to do to show that to everyone is actually show a trailer of what the new game looks like. For them to say, hey, we're still coming next year, it's like, one, you acknowledge that this game has no hype behind it, or the legacy behind it has no like noise behind it, and 2, you're like, you're not very confident in the way it looks. It's really weird. Because fine, people, there are quite a lot of followers of Dead Island who always. I remember Dead Island had so much potential as this open world zombie RPG, but it kind of got
really campy, but it's such an enjoyable game to play, guys. One of these days we could I think
we could actually play
the remaster has FPS boost. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's just kind of chunky looking and oatmeal-y looking, but
oatmeal-y looking. We could go back and look into it.
It's hard to say because it does a little bit of things that Fallout 3 does. It does a little bit of Borderlands, and it does a little bit of Skyrim. And I know that sounds crazy, but some of the mechanics and the way you interact in the world and grab items, and like you just feel it when you play, and it's just, it takes place in Papua New Guinea. It's just really wonky. People are saying, "Who do you voodoo?" Yeah, that was classic.
Now that Dying Light 2 is out, maybe developers thought we have one less bit of competition. That's why we want to release it. And maybe the statement's there, but unless you show gameplay, it's going to be very hard for anyone really to believe either that is actually coming out, and 2, it's actually a good-looking game.
So here are the items I can give you off the top of my head to kind of fill out your incredulous take on it. Right? They said that the game takes place. It's called Dead Island 2. But it takes place in San Francisco, Hollywood, and another place in California. So it takes place across these areas in California. They didn't say why the word island is being used, but this information lends to that it is actually ready to be shown. It changed hands from Jaeger Studio, who is the studio that made Spec Ops: The Line. Apparently, Deep Silver was not happy with the build they did. They showed it. Here's the other thing. They showed it at Gamescom in 2013. So 10 years from now, they're saying that it's due to show up at Gamescom 2023, which is I don't know if people care about this. I'm trying to make it interesting enough to talk about.
They would, man. I'm very surprised. This isn't a game that is tiny and forgotten. It had a cult following. It had a lot of potential. For it to just come out that way, it's really unusual because the game scope would be. I mean, it was a pretty competent. I played very briefly the game. You had levels as well. The zombies had levels, if I remember them correctly. But then Dying Light completely this is the potential, Dead Island could have. My friend Ben still plays it to this day, or played it very recently, and kind of was like, oh man, this game had so much potential. And that the word potential was used quite a lot when the game came out, for future potential.
I mean, you're both right, because Techland took Dying Light, or they took Dead Island, and they made Dying Light, and they just kind of improved. They added the parkour system. They made the game more mature. Like the NPCs were all cool to interact with instead of like really dorky. Like you had all these really heavy Australian accents because it takes place down in, I don't know that geography that well. I'm sorry. I was going to say geometry. But I know Papua New Guinea is above Australia. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. And
mate.
So there's a lot of Australians that
I don't even know that, mate. Listen, mate, you're American. You're forgiven. You don't even know different places beyond your own state. But what's my excuse? I'm just at geography, mate. I just
geology. It's geology, buddy. It's geology. No, I mean, I like the game so much. I looked up. I'm like, where's Papua New Guinea? I've heard the name growing up, and then I look on the map. I'm like, holy crap, that's way out there in the middle of. I guess in between the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, way out there in the middle of nowhere, but beautiful area. Game's cheesy. The point is, apparently it moved from Jaeger Studios that made Spec Ops: The Line into Dam Busters. Get this, guys. The team that made Homefront: The Revolution in 2016.
Yeah. That wasn't. Yeah,
Homefront: The Revolution. Come on now.
It looked like it had potential.
Hold on.
I remember that.
Abrams making fun of me for my call out to the ocean. Let me look up on the map where it is. I'm pretty sure it's up in the middle of nowhere, Papua New Guinea, country in Oceania. I've never heard of that ocean. I'm just kidding. Give me a second.
Digitani says a dead game come to life, lol. A true zombie
it's
game.
just
Love mode.
Okay. I thought it was way away from the north part of Australia, but it's not that far off.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Try
what would you call that ocean? Doesn't even have a name.
Australian Ocean.
Indian Ocean. I'm sorry. I apologize. I graduated like 37 years ago.
My geography is terrible.
I mean,
That's
if you have,
here.
I mean, I appreciate people who can call that stuff off like really quick, but yeah. Don't ask me math either, but yeah. So that's what Dead Island is. I don't know. We'll say one more thing about Dead Island. One cool draw for the game is they've made it a 4-player online co-op. You can play by yourself, right?
Yeah.
But they made it so that when you're in a game, you can run into other 4-player co-ops in the world. Like if you jumped in, well, that'd be like joining someone's party, but you could jump in and see like Water Egg 32 over there with his buddies doing a quest. You can literally walk into their vicinity and help them with the quest, and then you'll be able to join their quest and help them co-op it, and then just walk away. That's part of the draw that they wanted you to be able to MMO it if you want, but if not, you can play it like an online co-op game. So I don't know. We'll see. That's enough about Dead Island 2 for one day, I guess.
Thank God for that. Well, I mean, it's quite. I found it interesting. I'm surprised, but I'm very skeptical. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
I will say this. I've done a couple of videos over the past 2 years about the Dead Island leaks and how it's resurfaced, and those videos have done 4 to 5 times the views. And I'm like, wow, people are really curious about this. So I thought I would just bring it up.
Do another one.
Colt Island, the Electric Boogaloo. And Paris is in the chat and he says, I challenge you to do a game of checkers to determine who's the best gamer. Paris.
Is that what I think?
Yeah, he likes that. He likes to have a lot of fun with that.
Sauce as well. Wow.
Yeah, you gotta have the street cred.
I don't have to play
checkers. You play the games.
I'm not a gamer.
So there's a couple games that got delayed today, guys. You've been busy saving the world in your real job, but one game that got delayed was Midnight Suns, the MMO like strategy, not MMO, but strategy
XCOM type. Yeah,
XCOM game. Yeah, there you go. That was kind of surprising, but another studio. I got to get this name right. Arc Raiders, is that, or Arc Raiders? Is that what they showed it at the last Game Awards show or the Gamescom? It was like a Destiny style Division type sci-fi game. Do you guys remember this game? It just got announced that it was supposed to be coming out in 2022. No one expected it to, but they put out one of those like special parchment paper tweets saying, we're working really hard on the game. We need more time.
Yeah, I've seen that. Thanks a lot, CD Projekt Red, for that weird looking format of and the game delay announcement. They did so many now. Everyone copies it.
Arc Raiders. I got it right when I wrote it down, but it was like a Division meets Destiny meets Starfield, like co-op shooter.
What?
It looked. Do you remember seeing it? I remember it well. I talked to Dealer today.
I'm typing it now. Arc Raiders.
Go to YouTube and watch in another tab. Watch just a second of the trailer. You'll know what I mean. It's a neat looking game, and it's one of those games that we're not sure if it's just going to suck, but it looks cool. We hope it's great, but they need more time. And what do you think?
This looks really good. I have not seen this before.
By the way, audience, we got 700 people who are watching the show. Thank you so much. Right now, I'm working on getting the show on where I can just put up video on demand on screen and get a better high quality stream without using the program that I'm using. So Randolph Thor's been helping me because he uses a similar setup. So that is coming. I want to provide that. It'll really help out Gaz and I. We can show this stuff.
This game looks amazing. The graphics are amazing. If you haven't seen chat, Arc Raiders, you need to check it out.
Let me do this. I think I can. I think I can share the screen while we're still talking.
Okay.
Is that working?
Kind of, yeah, but
kind of. Hold on. I can't make it
there.
perfect, but
no, you've got the wrong screen, I guess. You got two squares, rectangles, sorry, and you've got.
Darn it.
Darn it, mate. You need to check. I know you've got a bloody screen for this, right? You need to sort that out.
This thing.
See everything. We can see your porn.
How's that?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I meant to hit this. Let me skip to where it actually shows the combat. Okay, so this is Arc Raiders, and apparently none of us expected this game to come out this holiday. We don't even remember it, but we remember it was cool. But apparently this is coming in 2023 via delay. But another cool game. It's a multiplat. And
bro, this looks really good. Like, I'm surprised I didn't know about this. This is how much quality you have. Sometimes you always forget that goes over your head. I mean, that looks like a really good, competent co-op.
Doesn't it kind of look like nice. Division meets Starfield or something? It's even
Division meets Starfield meets Anthem a little bit with the jetpack stuff. And look at that robot and stuff. That's wicked, man. I was very surprised by that.
Let me get back here and not let you see my pictures of my feet. That's I know that wasn't super smooth, but I'm working on getting that set up so I can show you that stuff. But that's our Raiders.
Next time it's gonna be sexy. Wait till you see.
I mean, Fonz is the one to follow. Like, he's got a really clean setup. I'm looking at Arc Raiders. I don't remember what studio's working on it, but that game is being delayed. It's like crap. We're dealing with all these games being delayed right now. It's like I was talking to one of my buddies. You know what he said, Gaz?
Yeah,
man, everybody's putting out these little letters saying they're delaying games.
Oh yeah,
except for PlayStation.
Well, PlayStation, actually, respect to them. Although, in fairness, I do think they'd have been a fortunate position that a lot of their delayed games are actually coming out, or cross-gen games. So they have to take it a little bit of perspective there. God of War, though, it's coming out this year. King David thinks it's going to be delayed again. No, I don't think so. But
no, he does.
Yeah, he said that on
it's practically gold at this point.
Yeah, I'm sad.
I think that PlayStation has chosen not to announce that they need more time. They just keep pushing through and work through until the game is ready. And I think that's a real sign of strength. I know it might sound weird, but I think it shows real confidence to say, you know what? We don't need to tell them we need more time. We'll just keep working on it. And then when it's ready, we'll show it and we'll release it. And they've had a pretty good track record of that.
Yeah, no, fair enough to them. That's why I respect Sony. A lot of times we gave them flack for not talking enough, but then they put up with the game. So there's that. Paris says PlayStation is going multi-platform. Wow. That's a bit saucy right there. What? He thinks he's going multi-platform? Paris Lily, what are you doing, bruh? Get Paris in
what
here.
What needs to go multi-platform? That's what did he say? Because
he's saying PlayStation is going multi-platform.
Now, I watched his podcast with Danny Pena, where he talked about that last night, and I put it in the topics today because this is something people don't want to hear. Let me see where it is on our topics. Yeah, it's kind of down here far, but he talks about if you don't think, his words were, if you don't think that Day and Date is coming to PC on PlayStation, you're not paying attention. It's basically what he said. And people don't like that. But, I said the other day on Twitter, PlayStation, have faith in your fans and your consumers. Put your games on PC and put them in the service Day and Date, and they will flock and subscribe to your service.
You got a lot of flack for that.
I got a lot.
PlayStation fanboys didn't like it.
I mean, argue me out of it.
Some of the idiots that came out though, these guys don't have any source or any substance. Oh shit!
Day 218. I finally made it to Colteastwood show, but who is this? Gaz.
It's your baby.
Kidding. What's up, guys? Good to be here.
I drank the elixir. I drank the elixir. The third leg is coming in nicely. Fonz, I'm so I meant to bring Fonz in several minutes ago. I'm like, where is he? And then I look at my phone.
No
so I
link.
try not to look at my phone during the show.
No link.
And he's like,
people.
send me the link, bud.
Yep. But hey,
Yeah.
it's one of those days. I had one of those days yesterday on my show too. We started late too. It happens sometimes, people. It happens.
No, man.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
I was asleep. I angled that perfectly. I was asleep like a beast, bro. And then I was like, Colt, I'm just like, Colt, I'm coming. He's pushed the live button. He said, guess I pushed the live. Oh, so sorry, bro. I'm coming, bro. I'm coming, bro. He goes, I've got Fonz coming.
It literally sounded like you rolled over and told me, I'm so sorry, bro. I could hear the covers over your shoulders. It was such an intimate moment. But no, wait, hold on. Just take a break. Fonz, bro, how are you? I've watched you all weekend.
Good,
You're on Go Live on Saturday. I watched you on with Mav yesterday, and I was going to reach out to you yesterday and just say, hey, do you want to guest? And then I was like, oh, do I want to? He just did just 2 shows. But
anytime, brother, anytime. You know that you've always been there for me. When I've had guests drop out, I'm like, Colt, can you please come on? And you're like, I'll be there. And you come in dressed to the nines with the suit and all. And
always.
Yeah, it's
bro,
awesome.
You put on such an enjoyable show. How can you not say yes faster than you can ask the question? Hey,
I appreciate that.
Fonz, what have you been playing? Tell the audience like what's been entertaining you lately.
Well, I've been playing Road 96 and also Multiverses. I played a bit of that Saturday night with Dealer and a bunch of other guys in Party Chat. We had a great time playing that. Great time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. I'm loving the fact that everyone's getting on the Multiverses because I'm a big Smash Bros. Fan. To see Dealer keep the crap out of me and then Zorka playing it, but you playing it as well? That's
my son is a huge, he loves all different types of genres, and he's been playing Smash Brothers forever since he was a kid. And so he started playing Multiverses, and then I went over there. I was with him Friday, and we were playing all day Multiverses, and I was getting into it, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." And then so Saturday night, I told Dealer, he's like, "Well, let's get on, let's do it." So
that's
we had a great time.
Hey guys, listening to Fonz, Dealer, Zocker, Gaz play Multiverse in Party Chat, this is what it sounds like.
All you hear is controller clicking and buttons smashing. Yeah,
and
it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a bunch of old guys trying to beat up each other in this game. That's all it is. It's the geriatric crew. That's what it was.
Yeah, you guys are having fun, man. That's like brings back your childhood.
What it's about, man. These video games are about fun, not trying to 1v1 somebody to try to. Anyways, we're not going to do that.
Fonz, the chat wants you to say in your low voiceover voice, "I need a weapon."
I need a weapon.
How's that? I need a weapon. Anyway, it's funny. I just signed up for voice acting classes. That's
awesome.
That's one thing
you don't need them.
Yeah.
But
no. I want to do it. So
Fonz has he started to kind of look around and see where he can apply to do voiceovers for any like game or any other like type of
animation. It doesn't
animation. Matter. Yeah, and I think we should be rooting for him because I think he's got it. He's had it forever. Like I said, the dude could do Disney storybooks, read-alongs, and I would buy him up by the dozens. But
don't bring.
Hey, we're talking about Fonz. We're talking about PlayStation going multi-plat. According to Danny Pena and Paris Lilly, we're talking about this, and Paris just said something in the chat where he kind of he went a little further, and he said, I should actually see if I can grab it. He said PlayStation Live Service games will be on PC and Xbox. This is why they invested in Bungie to help deliver it. Fonz, I got to hear your take on this.
100%. That is more. Look, it's more of a reason they picked up Bungie than Destiny. Period. They want to help. Yeah. They want to get that help, that expertise that they have at Bungie for their types of games for this live service thing. I mean, look at everything Bungie has touched. I mean, basically Halo and Destiny. It's been both are massive successes. Who else are you going to get for something like that? Why not?
So what do you think what do you think he's talking about? Like, Bungie's going to make a game, like make a new live service game?
I think that they're going to help out. Now, their studios help each other out. I think this is going to be one of those cases where they're going to have some of their team probably work on other things and or help out where it's needed at other studios within Sony. It's a very smart thing to do, and I totally see that happening with them. And so they will help cultivate a bunch of new multiplayer live service based games for Sony. They need it. I know a lot of people are like, out there saying, I don't want, Sony to turn into a live service, gaming machine. They like those exclusives. I'm one of those people, but they do definitely need the other side of it. We've been screaming, hey, get a multiplayer game, Sony, like do something there.
I mean, the fans do for sure, but like you're saying, PlayStation needs,
they
need to be able to say, we've got 20 million people playing Forza Horizon 5.
Not only that, they need it,
right?
They need it for capital too. They need it for money. They need it for revenue. I mean, honestly, if you're going to keep up a premium service like they have there, sort of like Game Pass, you're going to need some of those games put within. You're going to need those games.
Yeah.
So
I've got a super chat here from Red Wolf. Thank you for the $10 Red Wolf. He says, Gaz, admit it, you were late making your character on Dragon's Dogma. That's why you were late. Just kidding. He said, Colt, there was a tweet where someone copy and pasted HBO Max's release windows and said Game Pass was next. I'm not sure if you're referring to when I said things about PlayStation needs to put their games on a service day and date. They're like, look at HBO Max and Netflix. Like they're hemorrhaging money. Gaz, are you back? I wanted to ask you on this one, where people are comparing the supposed downfall or the failure of these service-based TV shows and TV services, how Game Pass isn't going to make it. Have you give us some thought on that?
I mean, the comparison makes no sense, but other than the fact that you're talking about different medium, the downfall of some subscription services means there are other sub-services that are doing well. So they pick and choose which ones are doing bad. But that's the reason why, because a lot of people don't have a lot of the, like Netflix, for instance, its content kind of dried up quite a bit. It was Stranger Things that was holding the fort for quite some time to stem the bleeding. But others like Disney Plus, they were doing really well. It was because the market finally became, there was more competition. It's starting to become more saturated. You've got all these sub-services coming in.
Like Paramount.
Yeah. Paramount, another one. Like HBO is going to have something else, apparently. I don't know what's going on. There's lots of competition. It's a far cry from when it was just Netflix and Prime Video at that point. Maybe Hulu, which we don't have here. It's like, so they're picking and choosing. Oh, look at HBO. Oh, look at this. Well, what about Disney Plus? That's doing really well. Like, it's all based on content. It's all based on competition, which is, if you're going to draw similarities there, then just say, hey, look, Xbox, that's a warning sign of all that. You can float on the value proposition as for a certain period of time, but if the content isn't there to back it up, then 100%. People will migrate. But I will say it's a different medium though, because ultimately for bang for your buck, what you get on Game Pass for the money you pay versus Netflix and these other sub-services are not comparable. Like, let's be honest, we're so spoiled with Game Pass. You get so much gaming content.
I mean, don't you get
especially if you have kids?
Don't you get a good value out of like a Netflix or a Hulu, Fonz? Like there's more than you can watch for the $7 or $9 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but if you have a lot of crap in there, you're not going to really stick around, and that's the thing, and I'm not saying that Game Pass has a lot of, they have tons of different types of games, tons of different genres. It's not always about, you, but when it comes down to paying for a service, it is about you, and you want certain types of games in these services. I think Microsoft really has a wide range of different types of games. They have something for everybody, pretty much.
Power wash.
This year is honestly so. This year is really the lull for Game Pass, I think.
Absolutely.
And I think it's only because they don't have their big first-party titles. They can do something to mitigate the problem. They can go out and try to get a really big third-party, AAA game, like they did with Outriders. Do something like that for the holiday season. Really spice things up. really make it exciting again for a lot of people out there. I'm having a blast with the indie titles, but again, not everybody is into those types of games.
We didn't think we'd like Dusk Falls, right?
Dusk Falls was so good, and I played it twice, man, because I loved the narrative.
Did you feel like it was Jez in the game that was playing as Vince the whole time?
No,
I felt like it was Jez without the English accent.
I literally was sitting there on some of the choices, almost sweating. Like, what do I choose here? Because I don't.
Did you
want to
put
be
yourself?
Wrong.
Did you put yourself in? What would I do if it was me?
100%.
That is so cool.
That's what makes gaming awesome when it's got a really good, compelling narrative that does truly impact the game. And I want to see more games in the future do that, utilize that. I want more impact based on choice in more and more games.
That would be next gen.
That
would be
one
really,
of those
truly
things.
transformative.
Exactly. It's one of those things. Yes, it is transformative. That's what I want to see. I want to see that more freaking animations. Like, I want to see them push the animation level. I really want to see that move forward, because we're already at a point where graphics are looking just amazing, So, I mean, even Arc Raiders we saw there, that looks pretty darn good. I mean, that looked really awesome for
I worry that it may be like average, but it looks so cool. And
it does
we always do that. Like, oh man, I hope it doesn't suck. But, I'm just excited to play something that just feels a little different. Danny Passion Official with the $5 says, ponies are saying that Game Pass will follow HBO Max's footsteps, that Xbox won't guarantee day one release on submission services. I saw that. Beep. He says, I also saw that, Gaz, where people were saying Game Pass is going to stop putting their first party games in there pretty soon because it's not sustainable.
Bullshit. That's all right. Sorry.
Bro, when you messed up your button on Go Live, I died. I died.
Oh my God,
you hit the
so
reverb
bad.
button and you said "poo" or really loud. Shallow's Edge with the Australian $5 says, how do you feel about these games getting server shutdowns but still available for sale? Not getting the full package feels like a deal breaker. Wow. His example is Ubisoft. I'll ask Fonz on this one, because I believe this was something that was rumored, and Ubisoft said no, we're still honoring and keeping the servers alive.
Yeah, I haven't heard about this. Especially pertaining to Ubisoft. I haven't heard which game. What I would like to know what game he's
Roller Champions or something. But apparently they said no, we're still supporting it. But.
Yeah, because if they do shut down a server and they're still selling a game for it, that's just bad. That's not cool.
That problem.
I haven't seen an example of that yet. Personally.
That problem runs across more than just console platforms. It's not an Xbox or PlayStation problem. Like, no. I bought Bulletstorm on, I guess the game had only been like 3 years old. I bought it on PC, and it was tied to Windows Live, which is no longer a thing on Windows for gaming. I had to get a third party, find it on a forum so I could crack the game that I paid for on Origins. Like, that's stuff's crazy. Just hard to track. Udana Kizada with the $5 super says, a dead game come to life, a true zombie game. He says, why don't true games like The Darkness or Viva Pinata get a sequel instead?
The
Not
Darkness.
Fair. Say it, guys.
Pinata, get the
Viva.
out of here.
You were messing around with The Darkness too, like a couple months ago.
Yeah, I love that game. I never got to play it because I kept playing the demo over and over again because I was a poor little boy ages ago when the game came out. But it's a game that I missed because it was really good. It was a lot of fun with this darkness powers on your shoulder. You turn into a slithering little snake thing, whatever it is. Demon
game.
Good game.
I played a little bit of it, and it was one of those that was really old when I played it, and I hear it's just freaking amazing. I got to read Hargeet's comment because it's gonna it just makes me think of how I'll read Hargeet's super in a second, but Hargeet and I talk about how the 360 PS generation was gold because you'd get 4 or 5 franchises in the same generation because games didn't take 6 years. They took 2 years, and they were better. Your baby Farvas with the $5 says, Colt, drop the OnlyFans link to your feet page. What's up, guys?
What's up, baby?
Speaking of older games, you guys remember the original Xbox game, The Suffering?
No.
The Suffering.
Oh, I really like that.
2022?
No, that was back in. Come on, man.
The
Original
Suffering.
Xbox. What are you doing here, Cole?
Isn't that Xbox's roadmap
I'm sure some
for
of the chat
2022?
remembers The Suffering, where you start off in the prison. Man, that game was That game was fun, man.
I'm looking at it now. I kind of remember the box art.
It was like way back in 2002, 2003. Maybe.
Kind of remember
It's
it.
real old.
God, it
Yeah,
looks
good
messed
game.
up as hell, by the way. Even today, the designs are
360,
weird.
That's what it was. Sorry.
360, yeah. This looks
Suffering
like...
was good, though.
I didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
never even never heard that one. Hey, if you're having a good time on the show, hit the like button and show your support for Gaz and Fonz, who are here, staying alive and hanging out with the chat. We got 840 some people who are watching the show. Thanks everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. It's just right down there, and it goes like this. And then we'll move into our next Hargi Chani. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says, disappointed with rumors for $25 for Game Pass Family Share. That's next on the agenda. He said, should be a perk of Ultimate to Family Game Share. He says, I keep hearing it's only $10 more. Where have I heard that before? Oh, yeah, $70 games. Should be $15, no more. So $25. Now, this is a problem. Xbox is some leaks have come out that Game Pass for family sharing up to 5 people is $25. In my home, I would need 3 Game Pass services. My kid shares one with the other kid, and then I have my own. So Game Pass family sharing won't even work for my house. So Fonz, I know you've been asking for something like this. And you probably pay for yours and one kid.
Yeah, I only have my son that I share with, so I'm good. But I think this is a good thing to have, especially for those with bigger families. I was talking to Mav yesterday from Fun Speculation. And he was telling me that this is going to work great for him because he has multiple Xboxes in the house, multiple people playing in the house. This is perfect for him. So for $25, he's going to save money because right now I think he has 3 subscriptions going. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. How much is that? So in American dollars. $30.
Well, I mean,
just pay, say
for the
$5
Ultimate,
a month.
he'd be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Fonz.
But anyway, it just seems like for somebody like him. There's a lot of families out there in the same situation. $25 a month really isn't anything. I mean, that's what I was hoping that it would be, around $25 a month. And I know this is a tentative price. This is just what's
you are getting 5 accounts on
5
one
accounts.
Price.
Exactly.
Which would be what?
Really
it would be
valuable.
5, 10, 15. I can't do the math. I can do the geography, but I can't do the math. But it would, yeah.
That's just $5 a person, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's $5 a person.
But the problem is, half your household most likely needs gold as well to play online. Like maybe you have 1 kid or 2 little kids that don't really play online, but you're going to have to pick that difference. Like Hargi makes a point. Like it'd be nice if it was, you could get a deal within Ultimate, but this stuff isn't ironed out and completely announced yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. I mean, again, it's only in Colombia and Ireland right now where they're testing this, and
Colombia, the city up in the clouds.
No.
We're by
Colt. The country's there, and Mav was saying that he speculates that it's probably due to being smaller markets, and maybe it's better controlled that way.
They say gold. Chat is saying gold is included.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, it could be. I would tend to believe the chat because it sounds more in line.
If that is true, I mean, that is an awesome value. I mean, it really is. $25, 5 people to share. The caveat there is that you need to be within country.
The gold comes with it. So when you pay the $25, gold covers those 5 accounts.
Supposedly.
So all those accounts have access to Xbox Live multiplayer.
But you have to be within country, everybody within that plan. So you can't share with Gaz being one of the people, in the UK and all that. You got to stay within country. So Gaz, you can't be such a cheapskate there. Sorry.
Gaz is not a cheapskate. He buys a 4K TV just so he can get really good at Call of Duty. He doesn't mind spending money. Let me read a couple supers here. I got Paul with $5 super says, do these companies realize that delaying their game into an already jam-packed 2023 means their games probably won't do well or sell well or jump into 2024? Well, 2024 has got a lot of stuff, but we've always dealt with that problem. Yeah, he's right. Like Elden, you release next Elden Ring, you're in trouble. But I think these developers just want their game to come out and not get, berated for being, incomplete or broken.
Or broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Danny Passion. Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say we're moving towards a $70 per game, baseline now, it seems. and we still haven't gotten games that are really any different,
Showing
you know,
the value.
especially
Yeah.
when it comes to, you know, games being broken or buggy right from the start. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know.
Hold that thought, Fonz, because that's a gem. That's a real gem. The $70 games. We're gonna jump into that in just a second. Don't let me forget it. I'm gonna pin it right there, and we'll talk. You know, Gaz goes, "How'd you make that noise?" And I was listening back to the show driving home the other night, and Gaz like, "How'd you make that noise?" And I said out loud in my car in front of my family, I could literally make 13 more noises that would make Gaz take off his shirt. It'll be great. But we'll
Can you
get
make
to that.
this noise?
Please don't do that again.
Fonz's face.
I don't know if you guys know. I put out a video on Sunday, and at the very end, I threw in that part where we were talking about the guy going. And no one said anything. I don't think anybody got to the end and watched it, and we're laughing about a guy. You know. Anyway, Danny Passion Official, thank you for the $2 super. He says, "I'll be proud to give Fonz his first gig as a voiceover actor." Yes, he's so awesome.
I'll be there. Yeah.
They're gonna have you play. Yeah. Okay. The call is Fonz. You're gonna be reading. You're gonna be a 2-inch mushroom. All right. Go.
I'm a 2-inch mushroom.
I'm a 2-inch mushroom.
I know.
All I know is
guys.
you're a 2-inch mushroom, and Gaz is coming in. He wants to eat you so he can get high. That'll be what will happen. We got Dark CMF, who's been a channel member for 18 months. Dark CMF is so cool.
Thanks.
He says no less than an expert than Jim Ryan said he would be frustrated only reaching 20 to 30 million players. The writing, though cryptic, is on the wall. We've been clocking Jim Ryan's cryptic slow boiling of the pot of water for a long time. I agree with you, Dark CMF. Udana Kizada says, keep what you're doing online. So many Jimmys rustled. Thank you for the $2 super chat. There were a couple dramatic problems on Twitter and stuff. I think people are always looking to have, like, they have a witch hunt of the day, right, Fonz? Where they're going after this person, and they're all going to take their pitchforks out there, and they're like, burn her anyway, you know, she's a witch. And
what happened? Is this about you?
And what I always notice, Gaz, is when the sun comes up the next day, their ADDs kicked in. All of our ADDs kicked in. They don't care anymore. But I put out a video a couple days ago where I had a pretty clickbaity title, but I kind of leaned on it like, look, I'm revealing this stuff. Xbox isn't revealing it, but I'm revealing everything that they've said. I've dug into all of the clues and all the information and what we know, and I'm going to lay it all out here and reveal it for my video. And I leaned on that like play of words, and somebody was upset that I used clickbait headline. A lot of people are like, it's kind of the name of the game. You got to kind of draw people in. Yeah. Well, there was a witch hunt to get me canceled, and that's all I'm saying. Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay,
it was
so
ridiculous.
I saw a thread about that, but it didn't really go anywhere. I was just laughing at these people.
Yeah, I mean, some guy was mad because
it was obvious
it's my
they
fault.
don't understand the algorithm on YouTube. I mean, you have to play the game to get any traction. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't normally talk about drama and stuff on the show. I'll keep it short, but it's basically he called me out for the clickbait and was not super cool about it. And I kind of have a reaction. I've been doing this for years. I get 1,000 comments a week on my YouTube channel, and you just get used to seeing so many people just go, you know, right? And sometimes it's just easier. It's just like, I don't ever want to hear from you again. So I'm just going to mute you, or I'm going to hide you, because every time you'll see these names over and over where they don't bring anything but an argument and a fight or an insult, right? So my bad. I hid the guy, and I should have just said, you know what? I'll change the title. I changed the title. I changed the thumbnail, but they were super mad that I, was being arrogant and blocked them. Hey, I apologize. We're going to move on. But
anyway, that's how I'm
just apologizing. I'll just apologize right here. They can't hear me. I blocked him. But no, it's fine. The short part of the story is it's just a freaking YouTube video. It's not going to Superior Court. It's not going to the Library of Congress to be etched in and put in an airtight container. My video.
We're talking Xbox games here. We're not talking about anything crazy. It's Xbox, guys. Yeah. It's games. Well,
let me lighten it up with one more piece of drama that you both will appreciate. one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later is the boosting of the Xbox Series S and a thing they're doing for the graphics engine for Series X and S, which will be really good for developers when they go to the Xbox platform. Well, Foxy Games UK, who's a guy, him and I have been ribbing each other. He's from the UK, and we tolerate each other. We kind of get along enough anyway. But he put out this tweet, put up a picture of me, and said I was an elitist shill because I said that the Series S, the little white Series S, was going to what were the words he used? Surpass the PS5. And this morning I woke up to this and I said, and my wife's like, get off Twitter. But this morning I woke up this and Foxy
Get off Twitter.
Said that, and I said, hey Foxy, it would help. And he had like 300 likes. I said it would help if you had the actual quote from the video, because I write my script so I don't miss all the details. I copied and pasted where I said that it will compete with the PS5 in performance for frame rate. And the resolution won't matter when you use the super resolution on both consoles. And I ratioed the guy, but it was in a nice way. So we'll move on. But
you
that was fun
ratioed
today.
him with facts, and that's a good thing.
But I said,
Especially on Twitter. But your wife had the best advice. Just get off Twitter.
She's amazing.
Just get off.
Just get off Twitter.
I love that.
Slap the phone out. Get the phone out your hand. You Dark CMet, thank you so much for the $10 super. He says, I got 3 Xboxes, 2 Game Pass Ultimate subs, and at $25, it saves him $5 a month, and he also gets to share it further to complete those 5 subs. So good.
We lost Gaz.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
Here, I'll move this to this, and when I hear the pop back on, I'll change it.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, Crazy Louie Gaming. Crazy Louie, welcome to the show. I hope you're still here by the time I got to this, but thank you for the $10 super. He says, I hope this family plan works so that the way other services can copy, especially Netflix, they started charging me $3 for an extra person using my account. Those mothers. And he says, that Gaz, help me out. So I think he want Gaz to send him some money, but we'll see. The Joker.
Gaz spent all his money in Apex. It's gone.
He did. He bought like all the flowery dresses and stuff for his characters.
Man.
Joker with the $2 says, want to see people playing DC Universe Online more. Is that game still alive?
Yeah. Do you know I used to play that many years ago on the PS3?
No, I never.
On the PS3,
I
I played the heck out of that game. Yep.
What's up, J-Rock? What's up in the chat? All right, Fonz, let's move into the next thing. We got, I lost my tab here. Let's talk about the $70 game. I almost forgot what we were going to go. There was a developer that used to work for Sony Santa Monica, and now she works for Blizzard Entertainment.
I was in that thread, by the way.
I know, I saw you. This is going to be a good topic. She said, and I'm going to read her quote, but she wrote this tweet, which is slightly innocuous, but man, did she got like smacked around by the way people are. Let me bring Gaz back in here. We'll put Gaz on the bottom. How about that? We'll put
Ew.
Yeah, you get to be on the bottom. You'll be the special. You'll be the
internet disconnected.
That's okay. I just started telling the audience and Fonz about this developer, about the $70 games. I'm going to read her tweet for you so nothing gets lost in translation. Here it is. She says, math time. I spent at least 3,000 hours working on God of War Ragnarok at minimum wage before tax. That's $21,750. I should read it like Casey Kasem. I was only one developer, and I don't work for minimum wage. $70 is kick ace for a PS title and is fair as fudge. Okay, so I
saw that tweet.
Censor her swear words.
Yeah. And
okay.
That post was ridiculous. I thought that was so mindless shit. Why does that post have weight? Because a developer can shill for that. Did you see the thread? She got absolutely fully laser up to orbital strike destroy in the making that mistake. I'm not gonna properly censor myself, but she got destroyed. So why does that have weight? What's that? What difference does it make? She said that.
Okay, so what was the point she was trying to make? And we'll leave room for Fonz on this one.
Really?
What was the point she was trying to make, guys?
It's almost saying that the money goes to her, but it doesn't. Did she say I get minimum wage? I thought she said I do get minimum wage.
She says I don't work for minimum wage. I don't know what the point of saying 3,000. She worked 3,000 hours on God of War Ragnarok. I would have said your typical developer in Sony Santa Monica makes about this much for 3,000 hours. But
Yeah.
instead she said minimum wage, which puts you at the very low end, which doesn't really
Yeah.
make your point. But I guess
Yeah,
she's saying
exactly.
at the very least, if everyone was a janitor that got called in to work on the game, it's $21,000 worth of investment for $70
And then she
game.
repeated the stupid like, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
I
It's
hate
like,
that.
why are you on Twitter? Just go back to building that game. If you're gonna come out with stupidness like that, all right. Well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like something that's egregious, or you think that needs to be substantiated, or someone needs to back it up, then don't buy it. Don't talk about it. I hate that so much when people say that. Well, can't have a discussion on it. Just don't buy the game.
She's missing the point of the $70 price point. And this is where Fonz has a literal, like, general's emblazoned medal of honor for the $70 price point. Take it away, Fonz. What's wrong with this?
No hate, no hate towards her. I respect her work immensely, and every other developer out there that works hard. But I said that, what the publisher charges after her work is done has no bearing on what she gets paid for her work, because developers are in fact paid for the job they do, and then the publisher sets a price and puts it out there. So it's not like the $10 extra in price for the game is going to directly to the developers. That's not the case. So I didn't understand her point. Then that's basically what I told her, and I got quite a bit of likes on that. Yeah, I was very respectful because I do respect her as a developer.
I do too.
I just don't respect people that
I
just don't respect
her
pushing
as a human being. I don't know.
I don't respect that opinion.
$70 gaming based on her opinion, based on what she was laying out there. It makes no sense. But I will say this, and I'll tell everybody out there, I would have less of an issue spending $70 a game if I knew that extra $10 was going directly to the developers. I would have way less of an issue.
That's what I'm prepared to go into. And a lot of people did not like what I had to say. I'm going to read it here because Twitter is just such a small part of this community. And I know a lot of you don't give two flying craps. Mm-hmm. So I'll read you what I said. But I got to give a shout out to Jay Rock, a good friend of mine. He's amazing in this community.
Shout out to Jay.
He's awesome. Like he says, happy to see Gaz isn't wearing his Yankees hat. Maybe now we will beat Seattle Mariners later tonight, Colt. Yeah.
Why am I bad luck now?
That was a crazy series. Nobody cares about baseball, but yes, J Rock and I are all about it. And boy, that was a back and forth for sure. Here's what I said. I made a note. I didn't quote Twitter. I made my own post because I'm getting tired of the narrative that where people pretend, Fonz, that extra $10 goes right into Katie's pocket, who is an environmental artist at a video game company, right? Because it's just not the case. Now, before I read my quote, I'm going to give you where I got the quote. This was from LinkedIn that describes game developer revenue and how they make their money. Here's what it says. Before I read my tweet, it says, LinkedIn says, the publisher pays the developer an advanced against royalties for developing the game. That is, the publisher pays, the publisher being PlayStation, or the publisher being Activision, or the publisher being Deep Silver, or who? Take-Two, yes. The publisher pays the developer costs for making the game, but not all at once. The publisher pays the money out in increments when the developer completes pre-negotiated deliverables called milestones. Now, before I read my tweet, when you have a house built, if your parents have had a house built, or a friend of yours, or you have had a house built, the contractor comes in and they are paid to do the work while they do the work. Like the electrician gets paid to come in and pull all the wire and set up the service. And when it's done, they bill and they get paid. When the house is sold, that's when everyone gets paid, all the money is finally finished. So here is come on, this is easy stuff. And I had some prominent PlayStation community members ride my rear end about this. Here's my tweet, if you care. I said, $70 games. Studio employees are paid salary during the work. The extra $10 per unit sold goes directly to the publisher for return on investment for funding that game. Royalty payment, if contracted, is contingent on hitting sales milestones. Yeah. Otherwise, the price increase on the consumer goes to the publisher. That was my tweet, and people
What's wrong
did
with
not
that?
like it. People did not like that. Gaz,
Name
you're
the
in.
names. Name the names. Oh, second.
You know I don't
Well-
name names on here. Brap.
Brap said that?
I said, you know I don't name names on here.
Oh, I thought you said that.
No, I
Oh,
mean
so
he
you
was
said
like
that.
he said this. He said it was so disingenuous or something. It's like
What was the substance behind the
don't- I
argument?
do-
though? If you're
I-
going to counter that, what was his counter? Was there any counter to that point? Let
there
me
was
look
no
for it.
counter to it. Other you, I mean, you have to go find the tweet.
I
But
think he was just
Oh,
pushing her narrative that they've got to pay the devs, and yeah, it's ridiculous. It doesn't work that way.
And
I
this is
know-
what conjecture
We all
looks
know
like.
this.
Well, actually,
that's what
Brap,
it is.
if you're
This is what
worried
conjecture
about,
looks like.
so let's substantiate it. Open your mouth and tell us what the non-conjecture is.
Yes,
You're going to sit
yes.
there.
He can't. He can't. Otherwise, he would have to fabricate a fairy tale.
Let's go Woolly
Where-
Gamer agreeing with him. That's how you know he's completely wrong. Flip. That guy's never been right in his life. What? Oh my god. Whatever.
I mean, you can't.
That's what conjecture
to
looks
argue
like.
with my
All right,
tweet.
then give us the facts. Give us the facts there. If you're going to open your mouth and you follow all of us and you talk like that, then give us.
You'd have
give
to
us that counter.
fabricate.
What's the
You'd
counter?
have to fabricate
These
that
people
all
follow
video
us,
games.
So then open your trap and then tell us what it is. I
Guys,
hate people
shut
like
up.
that. They're so
No, I'm just
snaky.
kidding.
They're so snaky. They need to get slapped. Why do you do stuff like that?
Quiet.
And then it'd be really face like, screw that guy. Anyway, yeah.
You would have to fabricate that all games were contingent on sales milestones. Here's the problem. Now he's capping for PlayStation exclusives, selling for $70, right, Fonz? But here's the problem. Do you think that Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7 hit major milestones to get a
No.
contingent royalty check sent back to the
No.
studio?
You know why? Because number one, you would hear it from Sony. They'd be blasting it everywhere, telling you. But not only that, I know this because we know from their, their earnings report that their software sales are down 26%.
Oh, Fonz spitting facts, bro.
26%. So, yeah, it's not, look, I mean, people can say what they want, but we know even in recent years, this year, we just had a huge game that sold great. And that company is really doing well financially. Bandai Namco with Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring it sold like gangbusters. A huge game there. I mean, it was massive, and it was $60. $60.
I mean, 10 more bucks would have been great. The publisher would have
of
made a bunch of
course.
money.
Of course, they could have made a bunch more, but that's what we're talking about here. Publishers making more. It's not the developers
No.
making more. It's the publishers making more. And if you look at what the publishers are making year after year, record profits and all this stuff, it's silly to even defend that as a gamer and a consumer. As a consumer first, because that's what I try to advocate all the time for myself anyways. I am a consumer. I am out there buying these games, and I refuse to pay this price for this because I don't see the value in it. And I know a lot of people will say, well, that's subjective. You don't personally see the value in it, but I do. And I get that. I get that to a point. But the problem is it messes with the baseline overall price. And if more people say, I'm willing to spend more money on a game, then it affects me and my wallet, because then it becomes the baseline. Right now, the baseline was $59.99.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see a reason to push that other than publishers being greedy. That's pretty much all I see.
But they're like, they always give the thing, Gaz, like, but inflation and games cost
BS,
more
that's
than
all
they used
nonsense.
to.
Gaming, but the amount of gamers
Nonsense.
out there buying games today, I mean, there's so much more that factors into this than just saying inflation. There's so much there that counteracts inflation. The fact that most of us are playing digitally now, 80% on PlayStation 5, by the way, or PlayStation in general. And forever we were hearing, hashtag forever physical coming from those guys. And now we're getting, data that shows 80% of PlayStation guys are now all digital. Digital games, you don't have to pay for distribution. You don't have to pay to put that out on a disc and send it out there, retail space, all that. there should be a price decrease, in my opinion. I mean, look at PC gaming. They don't pay $70.
Why?
And I can't
why,
wait
why
till
do they get
Sony.
away with pay? Yeah.
You know why they get away with that? Because they refuse to pay it, and they know
Yeah.
it. These publishers know it.
Yeah, but
That
you got
is the
mindless
issue.
drones who will cap
I'm
for
not even
prices
calling
like
everybody
that.
mindless drones. The problem is
What's the substantial
you have a
point?
lot of console gamers that are defending this, and you got a lot of console gamers pushing the idea
I
that
say a
this
lot.
is needed,
A
it's
lot.
necessary.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's not
PC
a lot
gamers are a different breed. They will
because the
refuse
numbers
to
are
pay that.
tanking.
I can't
The
wait
physical-
to see. I can't wait to see Sony pushing $70 games on PC and see how well it fares.
Yeah, exactly. Go
Can't
push
wait to
that
see it.
$70 model on PC. Go see. He made a great point. Why is the digital price the same in parity with physical prices? We have to contend with less markup on or capital expenditure on digital items. Have they scaled well?
Can you?
Prices
can you
should be a lot more fluid than they are based on the content that you've given. There's been no standardization of that. You got one flat fee, and everyone's going to go ahead and cap for $70 games. And I've saw
Dude,
so much
I've-
nonsense about
You
that.
know, it's been years, but I've made videos on this. Why we should be paying less, breaking it down, the price of everything, cost of goods sold, everything, and people just refuse to see it. There's just
they just don't even buy the Vaseline. If you're gonna do that, that's fine. But at least
Well-
come back with something substantive because it's stupid. I'm
Gaz, can you
sorry.
speak on when you said the physical versus digital? Can you? There's quite a bit of nuance there. There's quite a lot that really factors into why that supports what you're saying. Tell us about the difference between physical and digital. And I don't know if you've ever explained everything that goes into a physical game, being out in the market and the used market and all that. But go ahead. I think you.
No, I mean the price has been. I mean, other than the obvious fact that you're not paying for anything physical, there's a lot that goes into printing materials, then the distribution of those materials, shipping, all of that is the reason why people justify the initial price for a game. And a lot of people made reference to the Neo Geo. Oh my God, look at the price of those games. They cost a lot, except like those games came on cartridges. There was a proper hardware cost.
A
Even
CD
like Star
or
Fox.
DVD press is like 3
That
cents in the
basically,
factory.
those cartridges basically emulated the arcade cabinets themselves. They had
Exactly.
everything in there. So these cartridges were arcade perfect, essentially,
Yeah.
at home. So yeah, they're going to
Exactly.
be expensive.
Absolutely.
That was a bad analogy. Terrible.
Nowadays, physically, you buy a game physically, you have to download it digitally anyway, and it's just like digital components of the game. There are none of those costs. Why is there parity with physical and digital? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
None.
It's just
Zero.
because people will pay it, or there's been very little resistance.
Don't we justify it though? Do we
What?
justify a little bit, guys? The
We
paying
do by
for
our spending habits, absolutely. Like microtransactions, loot boxes, all of those. Like I'm
No,
a
I mean-
prime culprit for that. But ultimately,
are.
yeah.
I mean, don't we
am.
justify it's convenient? I can download it, have it downloaded the moment it's released. It can be
Yes, the
installed.
ease
I
of
can share it
use.
with my game share partner. I can uninstall and reinstall at will. Like we say, oh, it's worth it but really
I was one of those guys years ago that was against digital gaming. Man, I'm telling you, this was probably 8 years
Really?
ago. I
Really?
was more, buying everything physical. I was like, I don't want this digital, gaming world because I want to own my games. And then I found out, hey, I can game share with my kids and I don't have to pay twice on a game. I don't have to spend,
Yeah.
$120 for 2 copies. This is great. And then when I was looking more into it, I'm like, these discs they're truly like coasters. You download like day one patches and everything before you can even play the game anyway.
Yep.
Sometimes you're downloading whole games and it's like, what is that? Oh, it was a key to unlock the game. That's what that
Damn,
is.
Capcom
that's my
started it.
favorite when they're saying hashtag forever physical. It's like you realize, I think I was talking to Dealer about this. I'm like, how many of these games that people buy physical actually have the entire game on there? And Dealer says, well, a 4K Blu-ray holds this much data on it. Not a 4K, but a dual layer Blu-ray holds this much data. And he goes, most games are, I think it's 40 gigs. I love to hear Hargeet chime in on this. I think I'm sure he knows that number off the top of his head, but I think a dual layer Blu-ray holds about 40 gigs. And he says most AAA games are just above that.
I think it's 50.
Maybe 32, 36, but most of them are just a little bit over 40, which means if you didn't have the internet and you're Mr. Purist, I only play with no internet and I only play on physical. The thing I got to ask both of you gentlemen about is it's not working lately for PlayStation to say we're worth it. We're worth $70. Fonz pointed out they're 26% down in how many people are paying and playing for games. Gaz, is that $10 justified right now, or would they make it up another way, like going straight to PC? Like, where do you sit on that,
bro? If people are capping for The Last of Us remake at that price point, that means you've opened the floodgates for everything else. A game that a lot of people say are redundant
Facts.
anyway of having a remake. That's as conservative as you can get as far as pricing is concerned. As you strip away features from the core game, you got less features than you did when you paid less for it, God knows, 10 years ago. And now people have gone ahead and done that. And in light of the fact that we have a lot of people from all over the world who view our shows in Brazil and, you know, in areas like Pakistan, where I was born, you think people get paid that price? They aren't doing that. They're voting with their wallets and they're moving towards subscription services because they're a lot more sustainable and cheaper, and they get more bang for their buck. And now we're heading into a possible recession. When you keep claiming inflation, you have to understand, like, we have less spending power as well as consumers. So what are we going to do, man? Things are really expensive out there. So instead of like breaking your back to accept, we had some guy who became homeless. Who was a homeless fanboy, PlayStation fanboy. He became homeless and he was capping for $70 games. Like at that point, it's like,
bro, you hit the nail on the head when you said that, you know, they're capping for a remake being $70. And let me remind people, this is what blew my mind, because I didn't know this until we did our show, I think, Gaz, where somebody corrected me. I thought The Last of Us 2 on the PlayStation 5 was $70. Apparently it wasn't. It was $60.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
$60. It blows my mind that you're willing to spend more on the same experience you've already had twice. And you're telling me, and I say twice because we had the original game, and if you're really up to buying this one, I'm sure you bought the remake as well, because I did. I've played the game twice. I've had this experience twice. I'm not going to pay $70 for a third time with the same experience. Like that, The Last of Us 2 was a totally brand new experience, and it was $60.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Blaze in the chat goes, I'm jobless, but I'm paying for buying The Last of Us. Yeah, Blaze, you've got money though. You've got money saved. Shout out to Blaze.
Blaze is good people, man.
Shout out to Blaze. Yeah. Blaze is a good guy.
And shout out to KY Bob who sends a channel member chat. He's been a channel member for 34 months. I don't know what that is in dog years, but KY Bob is an amazing friend. And, you know, he helped me out with my pool. He's like, Colt, you're overthinking it. Just throw some chlorine in there. It'll be fine. I got to say, KY, on the show, because I haven't talked to you. It turns out the thing that we had our chlorine in wasn't even like letting out the chlorine. So like, it was disgusting. Pool was green. No, I'm just joking. KY Bob's amazing.
He's the oldest channel member for Game On Daily. So shout out to him. He's so
awesome. And great guitars, good friend. And we just don't play games enough together. But he says ecstasy with Colt, Gaz, and Fonz. Let's go. If you're enjoying the show, we're on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. We're live on the Colt Eastwood channel. I'm here with Fonz from Games Talk Live and the Jay Fonzarelli channel, and Gaz, who is one of the co-hosts of Game On Daily's Go Live show. So hit the like button if you're having a good time. Let's move forward.
You know, Colt, I changed my my name on Twitter and on here on
Fonzarelli
YouTube.
Gaming.
It's Fonz Gaming now. It's just Fonz Gaming, because so many people can't spell it.
Wrong.
They can't spell it. So
I can't.
I always spell it wrong.
It was 2 R's, 2 L's,
and an I,
and only E's and an I. And every time I'm like, But
so I get it. And a lot of people were telling me that. So it's just Fonz Gaming now. You can find
much easier.
Yeah, much easier.
And thankfully, you can still find him by JFO, like it,
or even Fonzarelli. Yeah, you can still find him.
You can still search him. But I mean, you're famous enough that they'll be able to find you.
I got a tiny channel. Please subscribe, people.
We're going to talk about Unity and Azure here in a second. Let me read this super here from DS Oman. It says, when this console generation ends, thank you for this super chat, DS. It says, when this console generation ends, which I think it's in 2028, he says, which 3 first-party games for Xbox do you think will have defined the generation? Give me one, Fonz. What's going to be a defining
my
Xbox
gosh.
generation game that is, I guess.
I really, you know what?
coming.
I'm still going to hold strong on this. I think Starfield is going to be that game, and for me, okay, I can only speak for personal experience. I'm a huge Bethesda fan. I love their RPGs. I think they're going all out with this one. I can't wait. I love the sci-fi genre. This is directed towards me. This game has everything that I want to play. So I think this is going to be really amazing for Xbox, amazing for gamers in general. Next year, again, this is definitely going to be up for Game of the Year next year for sure. I can't wait to play it, man. And I know a lot of people are going to be out there going, "You haven't even seen too much of it, and you're already talking Game of the Year." Look, Bethesda, when what's his name, Todd Howard puts his all into a game. Yeah, Howard the Duck. When he puts his all into a game, I mean, he churns out Game of the Year contenders. Yeah. If you look back at all their big RPGs, single player RPGs, all Game of the Year contenders.
He was completely absent from Fallout 76 as well, Fonz. I was just watching a YouTube video about how Todd Howard was like, they were like, "Hey, Todd, help us with this Fallout 76." He's like, "I'm good over here. I'm kind of busy." So yeah, he kind of left him high and dry. I'll say really quick, I agree with Fonz. I think Starfield would be the defining game that everyone talks about for a decade.
Yep.
But I also agree with some of the people in the chat. I think Avowed might really be surprising because Obsidian's like Pillars of Eternity universe is really well loved. So it might be like that. Wow, this really was cool.
I'm looking
so I'm going to ask Gaz.
What about that game? What about that game that's supposed to be supported for a decade?
Oh, come on, Gaz. Gaz, what do you...
what? Oh my gosh.
Gaz, what is going to be the genre? What's going to be the Xbox defining generation game, do you think? And you can use the same one if you want. No one cares.
Nobody's listening. Nobody. Just 1,000 people, live.
I think you're right. It's very early days. I have a feeling it will be a game we don't even know yet that's announced, but beyond that, Starfield has everything going for it. As it stands right now, everything rests on Starfield. The quality bar, the scope bar, the pricing argument about Game Pass games diluting quality. So much hangs on Starfield. And Starfield is a game that no other... What platform holder is going to deliver a game of this scope, of this scale? And I can't see... What does PlayStation have that has a... Bethesda kind of like that Starfield? I don't think it does. Nintendo does its own thing.
What if Starfield drops and every planet you go to is just barren and there's nothing there? Like you're just walking around aimlessly.
There's going to be a lot of that. I think there's going to be a little bit of Mass Effect 1 where you go into planets and they're just there to grab mines.
Don't say that. That is pretty bad, dude. Some of those planets.
There's 1,000 planets. There's going to be some that are just going to have a few creatures.
Yeah. I think the procedural generation, though, you're going to see stuff pop up here and there. You're going to have a lot of creatures to fight or interact with. Yeah, I think that'll happen, but. Again, it's procedural generation. It's not like, well crafted like for specific planets. So
yeah. Well, we'll talk about their roadmap in just a moment, but I'm going to cover this really briefly here. Azure is partnering with Microsoft via Xbox and all these connections to work with Unity, which is a major game engine, one of the most popular game engines next to Unreal. Unity is very popular. I'm going to read this quote because it's a little strange. Like, what are you doing with this? But if I read it, it's a little more clear. They said Unity has selected Azure as its cloud partner for building and operating real-time 3D experiences from Unity Engine. I cut some of this down so it was less wordy and we get right to the point. It says, by giving creators access to these tools and the ability to create digital twins of real-world places and objects, Unity is offering creators an easy path to production for real-time 3D assets, whether for games or non-gaming worlds. To support this evolution, creators require a technical infrastructure that is as dynamic and innovative as they are. Azure is that solution, built for security and global blah, 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 blah. All you need is real-time simulation becomes central to every industry ranging e-commerce to energy, manufacturing, to medical, more. Unity and Microsoft are building the Creator Cloud that empowers 3D artists to build and run those experiences on Azure. So all that PR speak one of the things as gaming fans could take away from this is the beginning of Microsoft, guys, building a way for developers to work
On the cloud.
telecommute, to work telecommute, to not be in the office, to work across on the cloud together, to build games. What are you laughing at?
Fonz is distracting.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's
That is
playing with the
awesome.
arcade.
He's like, you got it perfect. Can you
Dude.
wiggle the joystick? No, I mean the other one. No. So this is a way, this is a way for
Don't.
this is a way for developers to actually get some work, because we've talked about this, guys, where people are working from home, they're not in the office. And I kind of want to get into this because Fonz is a guy who has to go in. He has to go in every night and be there at his job. You and I are fortunate where me all the time, you most of the time, we can be from home.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, guys, where developers are working from home. And is this a problem?
I don't think it's a problem. I think it's future-proofing your working environment. We're entering. In my field, I was actually having a go at my firm. I'm like, you guys are so behind the curve. There's no reason why I need to spend an hour and a half to travel to work.
Were you doing this when you were talking to him?
Oh man, all the time. I always have a loggerheads with management on things like this. I love them, but at the same time, it's just like, yo, like, come on, look, this firm here is fully remote. Like, why are we doing that? You have to be future-proof. Let me, and I even said things like, if you do remote working, people will be plugged in for longer because ultimately our workload is so high. We don't switch off. That's what the mentality of people is. And exactly after COVID, and bro, 10 is nothing. I used to work like till midnight, 1 a.m. But all of that, like, in terms of game development, in terms of that, you had Moon Studios who developed Ori, brilliant game, and those guys have been remotely working since the first game, way before COVID. Yeah, and a lot. I think the game industry needs to adapt faster. I get it. COVID-related delays, a lot of adjustments, and there are a lot of logistical problems. There is a value in getting people around in the same room and saying, "Hey, look at that." Or having, like we had that developer of Dirt 5 in, like David Springate, and he said, look, we only had one TV. Not everyone has the same TV. We couldn't, before we could all get all the devs on. So look, what does it look like on this TV? Now we don't even know what it looks like.
Interesting.
Because we don't, no one has access to a variety of different, so there are challenges there. But hybrid-based working or cloud-based, because this is what this article is alluding to, more cloud-based infrastructure for development. It's the way the future in terms of work smart. I think the game industry in some studios, particularly some of, I think, Microsoft ones, seem to have struggled in the adjustment period. I mean, it has. I mean, the output shows it, which is fine. This is unprecedented times. Sony's one seem to have acclimatized faster. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I don't know.
Can I interject, Gaz?
Yes,
is it possible that maybe Microsoft has been a little more lenient on adjusting to work from home, and maybe it seems like PlayStation has been more, come on, let's get up to speed?
Yeah.
Or is that
I like PlayStation's attitude. I like PlayStation attitude a lot more.
I mean, we're not working there. We can say work harder. We want the games.
I know. And a developer there would be like, who the hell are you to say that? And I understand. I mean, well, the point is, I like the attitude. It depends on how your attitude is to things. Like, I have strict Asian parents who beat the keep pressing the wrong button.
Dude.
So, like,
oh my gosh.
So, well, when Sony's quality control is as a result of them being a little bit sterner with their dev studios and say, look, let's just get that out there and have that quality control. Whereas Microsoft right now is so, like, in my opinion, I think so fearful of quality control, especially when they're bringing new studios in and they're like, hey, look, we're kumbaya. We've got such a nice environment, plush environment, best workspace for all of you, right? And then they'll be like, hey, hold on, you gave that studio that much cushion. Can we get it? Oh yeah, of course. Playing nice.
They sure, with the exception of maybe 343, all the studios seem to be very happy and very grateful to be in their situation,
which is good,
right?
Which is good. I think ultimately it depends on the mindset. Will that mean that in the short term we may lose out, we'll have delays and all of that, but a happier workforce ultimately will produce a great product? So you keep delaying them, fine. And so there's a lot of arguments can go both ways. I'm not there for propagating the whip and I just go ahead. I'm saying the carrot and the stick. It's always a balance. I always say that work-life balance is really important. But with stuff like this, with Unity and just gearing up, it's future-proofing businesses. So God forbid we get another kind of thing like COVID or some kind of thing like that. We are ready for it. Please
it
don't.
definitely comes down to an adjustment period, though, as well. Because if you have people that's used to, say, bouncing off ideas to somebody else in an office setting, it's a lot different when you get on a Zoom call or, have to wait to talk to somebody the next morning because you're up late working, say, or anything. I mean, and then there's that barrier that you might have if you don't have all the equipment you need at home. Who knows what everybody has, right? So there's things that are there that I could see that'll be big hurdles for people, but I think it's more of the adjustment period for people because it takes time to really get used to working in a different setting. It does.
Absolutely.
No matter what you do.
Spot on.
I mean, if you work at a game development studio and your workstation is this very powerful, capable, machine with 2 big monitors where you do your thing and you do it quickly. And then you go home and you have to go home and you remote in with Citrix or a remote program and you're on your TV or your 22-inch monitor. You don't have dual monitors. You don't have the access to power. You don't have quick access to the
web
network.
TV, the old web TV, you had to bust it out to get online. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the inappropriate bots that have been hitting the show tonight have been very, very, very
man, they've persistent,
been very persistent and
dude. I don't know if you saw my show yesterday, but somebody
said that they need to hit the like button for us.
Dude, I was hitting the air horn every time they'd come in and I go, get them while they're hot, but get them out of here, It was silly.
This is a new one. It comes with a nice profile picture.
Get rid of them.
I remember I had Gaz on when Gaz and I were doing the show. One of those bots hit the thing, and Gaz and I were wearing sunglasses, and he went to the site and was perusing all the pictures and videos. You could see it reflecting off his glasses. I'm just kidding.
I keep my pants during the show.
Actually, somebody in the
him, bro.
Somebody in the chat. Somebody in the chat actually said, Gaz, the site you're looking at is like they were making a joke because the bots kept hitting it, and they said what you're looking at their videos and it's reflecting off your glasses. And Gaz goes, he was like this right in the middle of the show. He goes, and he took them off really quick. It was so perfect. And Yodani, who's a great mod, Yodani Kazada says they didn't show up till Gaz got here. So might want to check your browser. And there's another one. Hit the air horn for us, Fonz.
Oh, you want the air horn? Get them while they're hot, people. But get them out of here, mods. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was going to say because you got me laughing so hard. What were we talking about?
We're talking about Unity for some reason.
Yeah. So, I was going to say you go home and you don't have your access to your PC. Chat. I want to ask you, and just write in the chat for an answer. Do you work at a place where, you go over and look over your shoulder of your coworker and just like look at their monitor and say, oh, okay, yeah, that's I can see what we're doing, and you go or look over the shoulder where you're working in a place where you just have to see stuff like this is what developers are dealing with. Let me one of the mods blocked on accident trying to get the bot, so let me see if I can get that. Oh my gosh,
look at this, man.
What?
Wow.
What do you got?
They're following fun speculation. They're following Mav, apparently.
They're following him around.
Yeah, he said because he entertains them on his channel. So I don't know in what way, but that's what he said.
Okay, let me see. I should be able to
attack.
Oh, that is so
do that
cool.
again. That was so cool.
Decepticons attack.
Oh,
that is so sick. That is so sick. I would abuse the hell out of that if I had that.
I know you abuse your toys, bro. That's why sometimes your Go XLR stops working. You're like, AutoTune says, no more, Gaz, no more.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I've got a super. Let me see if I can find Fahim because I can't find him in the listing.
Take over the show, Gaz.
Take over the show.
Right.
Gaz, let's see. We're talking about let's talk about this boosted thing. You might have watched my video, but there's some updates coming to the console that'll help for developers. Do you know anything about this, guys?
So the Xbox, you did a good video on this, and so did Dealer. Talked about the Xbox Series S is getting boosted. Power, more RAM available to it, because I think RAM has been a problem. More RAM available to it because RAM's been a problem.
I thought you said Rand has been a problem.
Rand has been a problem.
Man with a million.
That Rand? Yeah.
Yeah, that Rand.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, RAM has been a problem. They've freed up more RAM, so the system is possibly going to perform, or most likely will perform better. And it's an upgrade in what will, I imagine, be a series of upgrades where the Series S starts to, really flex its muscles. The Xbox Series X and S have been faring quite well. Technically, they're starting after this 2-year period. Developers have got their hands on, and the consoles are performing really well. You got some heat for saying something. What did you say? You said the Series S will be on, it will be. I
said the Series S will destroy the PS5. No, that's kind of how they took it. So I can't say in official capacity. I talked to somebody from Xbox that said, once we get out of cross generation and these games are more CPU intensive, this is where as Gaz drops off, let me change that. We'll bring him right back. Oh, let's add him right here. There he goes.
Sorry, fresh.
This person from Xbox told me that once games become more CPU intensive, because right now they've held back on CPU powered games because of the bottleneck of the last generation, right? Once games become more CPU intensive, that will shine where the Series S with fidelity resolution, where resolution won't matter as much because games will always look really sharp when they use it. We're already seeing it, Gaz and Fonz. We're already seeing where the Series S and X are outperforming in frame rate the PS5 in most multi-plat games. It's been happening for a while, and it was a long time coming.
Series S is not doing that, is it?
Series S is holding frame rate better than PS5 in some games. But once you start using all these things, the Series S, even as small as it is, it will be in competition with, and I say that colloquially.
You said it was going to be. No, what was the word that you used?
The word I used, it would compete with the bigger PS5. Now you have to keep in mind what I'm saying. The PS5 is mammoth. It's got a huge GPU, but when you're talking about performance for processing, the Series S has a faster processor. So, and it's slightly faster, but with all these things in concert, it will be like keeping up in frame rate and performance. And when people look at the game,
a lower resolution, a much lower resolution.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. But that's still a win. That's what people were saying. You were saying that. Everyone was saying that at the start. Like on paper, technically, the Series S with a faster processor could actually churn out. Things haven't worked out that way. The PlayStation 5 with this massive SSD that was going to be transformative to the game industry, that's not even loading things faster than the Xbox Series S or X. So what's the big, all of that stuff on paper hasn't translated one-to-one to what the results will show. But if the Series S does start to give PlayStation a run for its money as in terms of parity on frame rate, irrespective of the res thing, that's exactly a massive win, is because it's exactly what a lot of people are espousing the Series S is delivering. A lot of people complain about it being
it's a very capable machine, bro. It really is.
But people say it's holding back the gen. What happened to my camera?
It's great.
Okay. Maybe battery ran out?
There's a lot going on with this whole setup, and the simultaneous multi-threading. Gaz just disappears as my voice cracks. Okay, the simultaneous multi-threading, and I talked to Jason Ronald in an interview that's on my channel about why they chose simultaneous multi-threading and why they have they split the memory pool and all this stuff. And that's in a video I did about 2 years ago. But all this stuff is meant to future-proof and pay off. Of course, what you're seeing with the PS5 fonts is the PS4 Pro reimagined, right? You get the same setup with an SSD. You're getting a Smart Shift 10.3 teraflop GPU that is meant to clock down and clock up. You bring performance down to get the graphics up. You bring the graphics down to bring the performance up. And this is where you'll start to see there'll be some games where the Series S will be and Digital Foundry will say it. And this is going to happen in a year as we get out of this, because cross-gen's still going. and it'll still go for a while. Where you're going to hear Digital Foundry guys, they're going to say things like the Series S is quite capable, even compared to the PS5. You got this $300 box, this little thing that is holding its own for its size and competing in performance with the PS5. They're going to say this, and I'm just saying it before they do. It won't be transformative, but you have a true $300 box. The digital PS5 is an anomaly they use just so they look good. They're hardly even selling those things. So
no matter anything negative you may hear on it from, the fanboy rhetoric or anything, I've said it before, and I maintain this. What Xbox did in bringing out that Series S was nothing less than brilliant.
It was a mistake, though. They called him. Everybody calls it a mistake, Fonz. No, go ahead.
It's a brilliant move.
It's holding back.
It makes so much. It makes so much sense to put out an affordable box like this, and that is this capable. Because honestly, I was kind of leery on it when I first got it for my son, and then I played on it for a while, and I was like, I'm not missing much. If I didn't have a Series X, I don't think I would be like, really worried about where I would play my games or anything, because I think I would still play on the Series X more often than not, because
there was a handful of games, big games that came out over the past year that were 30 frames on the Series S. One of them was Dying Light 2 that I talked about in my video. Fahim said, "Where can I find it?" It's on my channel. It's a mostly dark black thumbnail with the chip on the side. That video where I explained where the Dying Light developer said, this is great, guys, you love this, but the Dying Light developer said, we can't get the graphics performance we need out of the Series S, so the game's going to run at 1080p at 30. And Dealer and I were like, we wanted to reach out to TechLine, like, what are you talking about? You can't get the performance. Like, you should be able to get 60 frames out of this. And they were like, we can't do it. And then a month later, they're like, oh, here's the patch. It runs fine at 60 frames. And it's a dynamic resolution.
Exactly.
But the problem really was the GDK, the developer kit that they're porting the game onto to click the switch and make the Series S version over here. They click the switch back over here. They're making the X version and they unleash it, right? The version over here with the instructions they're given, the drivers and what they have access to, they weren't able to. So the Series S does not seem powerful enough for them at the time. Fast forward to, I think it was 2 weeks later after launch, or 3 weeks. It wasn't even a month, I think. The game is running at 60 on that little tissue size box Series S.
Yeah, and you know what? And it was Dealer. Dealer was the first one talking behind the scenes with us, telling us, look, this machine should be running these games at 60. This is ridiculous. He was calling it, saying there's going to be a patch. And sure enough, weeks later, a patch. And he goes, I told you guys.
says, still 60 frames. Far Cry 6 manages 1440p 60 on Series S. I don't know if that resolution's right, but I'm pretty sure it probably does run at a dynamic 1440 to 1080.
Maybe, and I think it hangs out at 1080 more often than not.
But still pretty awesome.
Looks awesome.
Brian Harris in the chat also said that he had, and I know this from talking to him behind the scenes. Brian Harris in the chat says he settled for the Series S because he couldn't get an X. And he was talking to me all the time. He's like, I love it. The games look really good. You wouldn't expect it from a just love it. And he said, games look great. And he was really impressed. And then he got an X and he's like, oh, now I'm living the high life. But
I think this whole cross-gen business actually has given time for Xbox to kind of it's been a saving grace in many ways for Xbox, because as developers get more accustomed and the dev tools get improved, we haven't had any true multi-platform. So now the Series S is getting no next-gen games, but as they come, now the developers will be more, the tools will be more refined or developed, and the Series S out of the gate hopefully will be better equipped to deal with the true next gen games whenever the hell those come out. When is that coming out? When is a true next gen multi-platform coming out?
It's not Starfield. I mean, Starfield is not true next gen. It's a game that's only on next gen. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've kind of told people we're not going to see true next generation for another year or more, because games have just been in development for a while, and you don't really get, like, as amazing as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart looks, it looks a little bit better than the last one, but the last one looks amazing. So Zocker87 said it really great. He's on RDX. The way he described it, chat and audience, he said that when when developers are putting their game on the Xbox through the game development kit, which looks like a big console, the instructions and drivers that they have access to is too much work. Like he said, the way he was told that when they go to do things to get the game ready, the instructions are longer or more convoluted or new to them. And when they make the PlayStation version, this is what happened the first year. They were like, oh, we did all this on the PS4. Now we just have access to more power. The developers look at the Xbox like, we have more power, but it's just harder to get to it. But that's no longer the case. Yes, let's talk about
Remedy's
the other
developers
thing.
of that as well. Yeah.
Yes, they did, Gaz. Thank you. The other part, which isn't so sexy, but they said that they've improved the allocation of graphics addresses. Now, I'm not a developer. I don't know what that means, but they're able to get graphics quality and visuals better because things were going into an inefficient path, and now they fixed that. So the course correction, which is already in Xbox's favor, is getting even better. So Xbox upgrade boosted.
Upgrade boosted. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So my question is for you, Fonz, if you're paying attention, when will we see the benefits of the extra RAM being available that's pulled from the OS, this extra graphics boost, the game development kit maturing? When do we get to see this? That's what everyone's asking.
We don't really have any idea because these developers have to choose to, use these, new tools and everything that they have to them now. I mean, we don't know, man. Like, it's just like a waiting game. Like, we've been waiting for these companies to utilize things like FSR and stuff. And it's just like, we heard that they got the new kits and everything out there to everybody, but it's just about these third parties wanting to use this. Even first party, like, I think we'll start to see stuff being really used with Forza Motorsport.
Yeah.
That'll be the first one that we'll really see use a lot of stuff. We've all seen parts of it too, and it looks pretty incredible. But I want to see more of this stuff being used in like a third-person action adventure.
Yeah.
I want to see...
Yeah, I know you're right. Forza Motorsport will look... will truly be next gen, but I want to see it.
You could even argue, look next gen, but it's, again, people will just say it's a flight sim, and people will say the same thing about the Forza. It's a racing game, so that's why I said I need to see it in action with like an action adventure game or even an open world game, something out of the box, out of the realm of, racers and sports games and things like that. I want to see it really being used in a awesome, well fleshed out game. Like, hopefully, I don't know, man. Like, hopefully Starfield uses some of this stuff.
I hope so. I mean, they should have access to some of it, but you talked about VRS and variable rate
FSR,
shading where they can use efficiency features. You talked about FSR where they can get some extra performance by making the pixels look better, by making them look like they're 4K when they're only 1080p. Incredible stuff.
And that's
like AMD says
as well, right?
All they have to do is just put in the algorithm. They just have to apply it, and it does it for them. So Dealer and I've covered that in videos.
Yeah, and FSR is also on the Series S, right? So
yes, it's and on PS5.
So the Series S will definitely benefit from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that the person that I talked to at Xbox that I shouldn't say because it would sound so dorky if I did, but they said that the FSR is going to be such a game changer. It's literally what the Series S, it's why they made it so weak. I'm using that word. They made that graphics chip so small because they knew in the future, and Digital Foundry's already said this, guys. They've already said that once you get into super resolution, that counting pixels will be irrelevant. Games will look fantastic, and you'll get your cake and you'll eat it too. Got a couple super chats. Yodani Kizada with the $2 super. Thank you, Odani. He says, and he's been doing a great job knocking down the spam bots. He says, down bad, console warriors in your area now. There's always console wars. Eamon 3080 with an Australian 5 says, thank you, Eamon. Says, what do you think of Xbox consoles allowing for an external GPU to boost performance? I'll take this one real quick. This is a non thing. You can't have an external GPU, mostly because of the bandwidth. You can't get it connected to your console and have it bandwidth the graphics in the speed you'd need from being right on the chip. So there's no way unless they sent you something that pops out the back and you shove something in and it's sticking right into the board. So it's not going to happen. But you don't need that. I just kind of said that, right, guys? Are you going to need to boost your graphics performance with these other features?
Graphics.
See, I told you sounded like that.
Graphics.
We got graphics, we got facts, and we got graphics. So, well, I didn't finish. Well, I guess we didn't finish answering. I'll just ask Gaz, if you've been paying attention, when will we see these performance enhancements on the because of the GDK?
In
People ask
17 days.
17.
I'll go with that. It's a funny
so.
question I get asked a lot, guys, because they did it now. Like the GDK is ready now. So I think the answer is as soon as they either patch games they already have out on their GDK.
Doubt they'll do that. I don't think they'll. Well, maybe depends on the resources available. They'll just go forward facing and their future games. And that's where the GDK really needs to flex its muscles with a true next gen game. So your Starfields, your Forzas, and Hellblade 2s, all those games. I think it'd be a bit of a waste of time developing unless they have spare resources to look back retrospectively and change those up.
Yes.
So
I think
what's the future?
I think the answer is as soon as a developer puts out a game from the GDK. So it could be the next game that comes out. It could be the version of Saints Row that goes to Xbox Series S next. They're already working on the Series S, and they just saw that the GDK is getting an update that will give them a few more megabytes or a few hundred megabytes of RAM that was normally for the OS. And so like, oh, okay. We had to, on the Series S, we had to drop down to 900p. Now we don't have to, you never know. But I don't know. I think we have. I just want the games to be good, Fonz. I just want to be good.
Me too. Yeah. I'm waiting for that next big one, man. And I think for me anyway, it's probably either Saints Row. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm going to have tons of fun with that. We'll be able to play together as well, Colt. We'll have a good time, with our characters in there. And also, I'm looking forward to Callisto Protocol as well.
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah. You think that's getting delayed?
Possibly.
Dude, everything's getting delayed. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, again, today we just had delays with Raiders, and I'm just like, there's another one down. It is what it is, man. It's delay season. It's not acquisition season. It's delay season.
But, you and I were complaining last year, and Gaz, we were all complaining last year about all these games coming out incomplete, and now they're really getting it. Like, just give us more time.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I have no issue with that. I really don't. Like, it sucks as a gamer. You got to wait for it, but at the same time, you're going to get a better product. At least that's... You
better get a better product, is my attitude. If you're going to delay things, like Cyberpunk, you didn't get a better product. And that got delayed multiple times.
Well...
So...
You did see that article. It should have been delayed another year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've said that last year. It's not a crazy thing to say. But speaking of taking more time, Fonz, what is in the pipeline for you? You've got your podcast set up great. I love the background. I love the camera angle. Now you've got a little bit of room in your temporary location. What's new for the channel? Tell the people what you've been doing and what you plan on doing here on the channel.
What I plan on doing, more of the podcast. I'm really enjoying the podcast. It's something that I love talking to people, and I love talking about games and stuff. And I love being able to get out all my thoughts, my opinions, everything out live. And it's unscripted. It's a nice change of pace from doing like a regular video where you're editing a lot and doing all that kind of stuff. Although I find myself spending hours before a podcast sometimes setting everything up. I've got little things I play. I'm adding more, of my ads, the commercial ads. I'm adding more of that stuff in. So lately I've just been playing my older commercial ads, but I do have plans to make more. So I'm trying to get my creative juices flowing again, because even those take time, man. They take a lot of time to make.
Those are those things that strike you in the moment and you run to go make them, because
exactly.
You got to check out Games Talk Live on Fonz's channel. He has put in on his channel, he has put these little quasi 80s like product videos that kind of cover the console war that really have gotten people laughing, and he's they've made a re-entrance on the show to kind of get remind everybody that he's made these.
It's kind of like a reminder. Hey, I can edit too, but at the same time, it's more production into the show, and that is what I really want to put more into the show is production. I want to put more and more of my humor out into it as well, because when we talk in party chats, we all have a great time. We're all hilarious and have fun, and I just want to put more of myself into that. So.
And we're making fun of Zocker in the party chats
of
at
course,
all
all the time.
and Zocker just laughs it off. He laughs it off every time. Like he's impervious.
And so this week I had played the Raid Shadow Legends parody ad. And it was they loved it, man. People loved that one. So
what's up, Ashtray? How you doing, buddy?
Ashtray,
check out Games Talk Live. It runs on Sunday at
2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. And I always have a different guest every week. Gaz was on last week. This week I had Mav from Fun Speculation. Next week I already have my guest lined up. So come by, swing by.
Fonz, can you tell the chat to hit the like button so we can get up to 500 before I go to Gaz?
Button, people. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. Hit that like button, everybody. We need these likes up. There's almost 1,000 people in the chat. Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Like back in the day. Then you hear, whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. So 90s.
It's so, the air horn is just, it's so played out, but it's silly.
It's silly. Team back again. Hey, hey, Gaz, tell them to hit the like button. What are you making? Like you've been putting, no, let me blow the air horn for you, Gaz. But Gaz started doing these hybrid sauce videos where when news breaks on the moment, he'll run to camera and he'll stand there and just fire out the news and then do some production behind it. I love that. I don't know. What are we going to call these? Sauce minis?
I don't know. It's just news. It's just me being me, just delivering news, actually. I just call it news, but it's delivered in a saucy way. Just me, bit more me on camera, unscripted, just go out and just read out or just say stuff. A lot of editing because I'm bloody just waffle a lot. I waffle a lot. So I was just like, put bullet points and I was just go ahead and just smash out the news. Very quick, like 4-minute videos, 6-minute videos. And it depends on the news. So a lot of people want source videos, but the source videos take a long time.
Holy Bree says, call them condiments. We'll call them your sauce condiments.
Oh. Sauce condiments.
I never use them.
Sauce packets.
Yeah. I see a lot of people deliver news and it's like weird. Like, hi, people. In today's news, I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm just gonna inject myself with some sauce and deliver news in a way that's
you do the little shoulder rock and the little.
And then of course, that's in between those videos you do that are serious, more of a serious tone, which are great as well. Your exposés on past games and stuff. You did one on Mad Max 3. That was awesome. And then
Max Payne, but
Max Payne. Sorry, no. Yeah, sorry.
Mad Max actually might be one in the future. By the way,
Mad Max.
I wish there was
game.
a part 2. I wish there was a part 2.
Were you just replaying Mad Max last year, Fonz? Was that you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I replayed that game and I did everything I could in there because it's so good.
That haymaker punch or whatever. Oh gosh,
I'm telling you, that's one of the most underrated games out there. Seriously,
ACG said the same thing a week ago about Mad Max. Yep.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bro, so good, guys.
I will get Fonz's information in the description since I had him join last minute. I'll get him in there so you can go. Udani put his I don't know if Udani still has it in his clipboard, but he put a link to your channel as well, Fonz.
Oh, thank you. You didn't let me finish on Gaz though. Oh, that sounded bad. Pause. Boy. Anyways.
Wow.
I
let you finish on me. Come on.
Yeah.
I
it's bad when I sink into my chair. There, Udani's got your
that one.
That
was saucy.
Go finish what you were saying about Gaz.
I was going to say, with Gaz, I love his sauce videos, the ones with the full production and the skits. Oh my God, those are so good.
Yeah.
Your skits, Gaz, honestly, some of the best YouTube watching experiences.
He's got the talent. He's got Safe. He's got him.
These guys can, and what I like about it is these guys can act. Him and Safe. Yeah. Great, man.
Awesome. Didn't he have some nerdy guy do like a Doctor Strange thing Oh, cringe.
Oh, Colt.
No, Gaz, we appreciate
That was awesome.
we appreciate everything you do. And
It's
Fonz, thank
great.
you so much for
No, thank you for the
coming
invite.
on the show. Like,
Yeah, thank
bro,
you, brother. Always
I
awesome.
mean, we've been friends for 5 or 6 years, but it's always good. I'm watching you on their show and on your show yesterday with Mav. Like, it's always good
fun.
to. You can't get enough of Fonz, but Gaz, you got to take small little niblets of Gaz, just little morsels. But
Little lines.
that's just little lines. But yeah, we really appreciate put people in the chat right now. You guys are amazing. Thanks everybody for your super chats and your questions, and everybody in the chat who's contributed to the show. This will be up on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Hopefully next week things will look a little more crisp and clear. To do the show differently, I have to use 2 different programs, and I'm kind of scared, but I'm excited to be able to, so Gaz and I can have some gameplay showing and other things like that. It'll be great. Thank you so much. I need 8 more likes. We got 500. We're going to get out of here and let Gaz go back to sleep so he can be a wreck tomorrow and lose his job because he can't perform and think straight. Fonz, thank you so much. I will have your information that Yodani's put in. I'll have that all in the description. We're going to get out of here. Have a good night. Hopefully some great news breaks tomorrow. We'll cover it on our channels, and we'll see you guys. And I'll hit the out button, and Gaz will say what he always says.
I'm not naked.